Hi traders, welcome to the full market analysis for the 9th of December. Hope you are all well. Apologies for my absenteeism. Suffering with flu, COVID, whatever you want to call it. Not very pleasant. Lots of sleeping going on. However, I just thought I'd pop in and see the markets and just do a bit of coaching for you so that keeps you on the ball. And we can have a look at the markets. This is pre-FOMC, of course, which is tomorrow at 7 p.m. So the whole world and his dog is waiting for that interest rate cut, which is expected. And of course, the markets will react if they don't cut. And if they cut more than expected, there'll be a reaction. If they don't cut at all, then there'll be a reaction. So that's the situation that we're in at the moment. Now, gold on steroids, I just want to cover this a little bit for you in a little bit of detail. 15-minute on the left, all green buy. And as we can see, this was a move back in the 5th of December. And we can see that's exactly what you're looking for. So this here. So at that point here, we can see everything is green and above the 50 moving average. And that's what you're looking at. It doesn't look like a lot, does it? But that's 200 or 300 pips there. So it cannot be sneezed at. Don't ignore these opportunities within gold because they are there. It's a matter of patience, discipline, a lot of patience, a lot of discipline, as you probably discovered. And the more patience and discipline you have, the more chance of greater success in the long term. I've been doing this for 35 years and I have to have a lot of patience and discipline and accept that also I get it wrong sometimes. That's part of the business that we're in, and that isn't at the end of the day, as long as our profits and our targets are far bigger than our stops, that is the name of the game. So we are live now, back up to date, just about 20 to 3 here in the UK. Nothing going on, of course, because the big dogs are holding back on their positions. And so therefore, you won't find that there's any volume in the market until tomorrow after 7 p.m. Doesn't mean to say there's not going to be opportunities. There was one on the Asian session last night. So if you're trading the Asian session, just look out for the price to move below. This is a consolidation here on the left, and the price is just moving up, getting ready to fall. And as soon as the price breaks below the 50 MA, then that's your position down to target. Your target is already set. It's already there. It tells you where to aim for. So you haven't got to do any calculations at all. So at this point here, this was the entry point on the 5-minute chart. We can see that the price broke down, break of structure, and the price fell 42 down to 41.72, so about 250, 280 pips during that move during the Asian session. So that's what you're looking for. You're not going to get them all. That's fair enough. That's life. You can't be at the screen 24/7. I don't want you to be at the screen 24/7. The whole point of the exercise is that we spend as little time as possible on the charts and spend more time doing other things while your profits are increasing. So not much going on in terms of gold. Let me go into the US yen let's go to a few other things here. Let's go to the reversal system, which most of you have got. If you haven't got it, then you need to get it. And where do we start now? Let's go with the DXY. Not much going on, of course. But as I did previously mention in the last week or so, we did expect a bounce into this demand zone with a power of 75 with divergence, convergence, the usual thing. And so the price did bounce. It's not moving much. However, what I would say is that make sure that your 2-hour chart, which is on the right, coincides with the 4-hour chart at the same time. And if you have a power of 75 on the left and a power above 61 on the right, then of course you have enough information to say the price is highly likely to move back up from this demand area. So it's quite useful to actually see this in this kind of view. We'll flick through the charts even though there's not much going on, because what we can do, we can gather from this is the fact that just look at your charts to actually see which direction it's going. We can see that the euro dollar is moving down, not much, but dollar weakness indicates that, dollar strength, DXY strength, will drive the euro dollar down. That's the name of the game. Pound USD. You can see here there was a nice bounce here back on the 2nd of December. If you got that, congratulations. Aussie USD, we had a lovely move here, didn't we? So let's talk about this a little bit. We could actually talk about squeezing out the profits from your charts as much as possible, because as we know, after a big move like that, you tend to find that markets die a death and don't really go anywhere. So you want to squeeze out as much profits as possible. So let's have a look at that and see how we can squeeze out the profits. So let's have a look at the 4-hour chart first of all. And we can see that we have positive divergence, convergence. Both order blocks are actually moving together on a power of 97. It wasn't 97, it was about 84 if I remember rightly, but that's okay. That's very, very strong. And also indicated is the target. We didn't go quite that far, but nonetheless we had a nice profit there. But what we can do from this information, we can gather that on the 2-hour chart, as the price coincided with the 4-hour chart, we can see that we had a change of character. This is going back in November, of course. But how can we squeeze out the profits from this and hold the position as long as possible? Well, there's one way you can use the super trend as indicated here. Any super trend will do. Just work out the figures and you just simply move your stop below the line and allow the price to squeeze as much profits as you possibly can. And then you can see here that the price is definitely topping out now. So if you are squeezing out the profits, then of course you would have maximized that move. So let's see, you get in on the change of character here. Trail it, 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 trail it to the top. You've got 179 pips as opposed to 140 or whatever we did get at that time. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. The point here is that you're looking for the consistency within the chart to actually make a better decision and make as much profits from that position with at least effort as possible, because these are long-term charts. They're 2 hours and 4-hour charts, so you haven't got much to do except just stick to the rules and let the position maximize the profits. Just going to flick through just to give you some trading ideas and my thoughts. The Kiwi definitely topping out here. We can see that on the left chart, on the 4-hour chart, we've got a power of 663 to the downside. And I did mention this a few days ago. If dollar goes stronger, then of course this will drive this lower. And so what you're looking for in this instance is, if the price does go lower, you're looking for a change of character. So you're just looking for this sort of structure, this market structure, to be broken down at some stage, and then the price to start to move and do this. And then we have our target here on the left, don't we? 57.30. But of course, it's all supposition, of course, because of the fact that we're waiting for the FOMC. And remember, when we do get the data like FOMC, like non-farm payroll, like inflation or interest rate decisions, that the institutions, the big dogs, will be holding back. They will not be looking at doing any big trades into this. I did mention the US yen, and it is kind of rallying. I mean, it's not really a rally as such, but nonetheless, you can see that we had a buy power of 74 with divergence on the 2-hour chart, and not quite converging here. The support is down here, 153. Okay, the major support, but it has moved higher, as we can see here, and we can zoom in a little bit to see what that looks like. So if you see this going on here, just pull up your tools, and then you can see that all the buyers are in at the early stages there, the early stages on that demand with divergence, and then the price changed character. So it's really more of a day trade rather than any kind of position trade. But you never know how far these things go. There is negative divergence coming up, and as I did mention this, that there is a downtrend in play here, as we can see from this chart. However, the price is not moving down yet. So wait for the price. If you're selling something, wait for it to all go red, or if you're buying something, wait for it to all go green. Dollar is strong, so therefore the US Swiss tends to go. Beautiful buy signal here. Look on the left, look on the right. Buy, buy, buy. If you're looking for 50 pips, just going to flick through the yens. As we can see, there's a mixed picture despite the moves up. This is a mixed picture. We can see on the left this Swiss yen. Not much you can say about that. And also the euro yen moving into a very strong supply zone now. Well, it's not that strong. Sell power 52. So, but I certainly wouldn't want to be buying it into a supply zone under any circumstances. Aussie yen has been rallying. We've not seen any significant pullback for some time, which we do need to see. I did do a blog on the pound yen the other day, but there's been no significant pullback. But it doesn't mean to say it's not going to happen. Of course, it still can. Might happen next week. The Swisses are all topping out as well. As you can see here instantly, you don't want to be buying into a supply zone on the Aussie Swiss. Euro Swiss, Canadian Swiss, all topping out. New Zealand Swiss, topping out. Pound Swiss, topping out. Let's have a look at the euro pound. Is something we've got our eye on. Okay, so we can have a look at this now, can't we? What I like about this in particular, I did put this into the VIP signals room, so you should have that if you're in it, of course. We can see here on the left that the price has moved down into a significant demand zone with divergence buy power of 71, which is strong. So therefore there's highly likely to be at least a correction. At least a correction. The downtrend is clear though. It has been going in a downtrend for some time. It doesn't mean to say it's not going to go back to where it came from. So by having the 2 hour and the 4 hour next to each other, it's quite useful. It gives you the same information, but you want to make sure that the 2 hour agrees with the 4 hour. So this is pound New Zealand. This is something to keep an eye on. This is a buy power 69 on the left in a downtrend, and a buy power 59. So not quite strong enough for us to implement any kind of trade, but maybe one to watch. The Aussie Canadian into a strong demand area. Well, into a strong demand area in terms of convergence. We've got this trend line here, and the price has refused to go any lower at this point, and the price is doing something like this. We do have change of character, so therefore it's highly likely it's going to pull up, but we don't have convergence in the truest sense, do we? That is right down there. See that? So that is definitely a place I'll be looking for. Once, if it does get down that far, it might not. It might just simply go up with the trend in the next few days. Similar situation for the New Zealand Canadian. Price bounced off this support line here on the left, as you can see, and now it's changed and well, going again, get out the money at the moment, but highly likely to start to move up. Euro Canadian is on my watch list. Again, this is a good example of where the price has come down into a very strong demand. Is it very strong? 73, pretty good. And 79, yeah, so that looks really nice. Now it is a correction rather than a trend in trade. You can see the trend on the left pulling down, but I suspect what's going to happen in the next few days, you're going to see this happen up into 162.60. We have change of character here with positive divergence, and they're both agreeing, so this is going to be one to trade. Now when you calculate your stop loss, you want to make sure that your stop loss not just below this line here, because that would be about there. Make sure that your stop loss is below this line and below the blue line here on the left. This is the one that you want to make sure, because as quickly as the price comes down, trips you out. If you're too narrow, then of course you could find that you tripped out and then suddenly there's a liquidity sweep and the price shoots up. You've missed it. Quite a common theme. So just watch out for that. Just make sure that it is valid. So we do something like this. Now this is the Euro Canadian. So if you are trading Canadians, then of course you might only want to choose one or two at the most, rather than trading, you know, 3 or 4. Doesn't make any sense, does it? And this is how quickly you can gather your information, do your analysis, and then walk away. This is the Euro Aussie against the trend. Of course, if it is going to bounce at this area, understanding the trend is really important, because if it's a correction, then you want to know about that. If it's with the trend, you want to know about that. So that if we have a look at the Euro Aussie as an example, we can see there's convergence here on the 4-hour chart, which is great, with divergence, which is great, highly likely to be a bounce here, but we don't have any convergence here on the 2-hour. In fact, there's no sign of any support here. And just a quick note on gold from the long-term perspective, we can see that it's in terms of the 4-hour chart, this is absolutely rubbish. This is not tradable in under any circumstances. In terms of a 4-hour chart, it's just not clear at all. It's just completely sideways, has been for quite some time. But what I can gather from this is that it is holding on to demand, and it is hitting a major trend line here. It's highly likely to go to 42.53 in the next few days, depending on the FOMC. So yeah, so there's a few setups which look rather nice. Hopefully things will liven up and I'll feel better to do the videos, and hopefully get back to some kind of normality once the markets gather and the data comes out tomorrow, and then we can find out what hell's going on with the dollar. Have a wonderful day.